Good morning, what's going on? This is Give Me That Change TV. I want to quickly get on here and get my picks up for Week 8 in the NFL season. Last week I went 7-6, which was my worst out of all the weeks this season. I do apologize for that, but hey, this is the NFL. This is what you do when you start picking these games. Anyways, my winning record now has increased to 72-30, which is terrific, but I need to get it up a little bit more. Let's get into Week 8 here. I don't want to waste your time. Ultimately here, we got some big games ahead of us. First up, let's get talking about the New England Patriots, the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is going to be a hell of a game. I think it's going to be the game of the week. Pittsburgh Steelers defense is looking real well right now. The Pittsburgh offense is starting to click. This past week they didn't get the running game established like they did 2 weeks ago, but ultimately here Big Ben is ready, and I think that it's going to be a big-time game against the New England defense, and the New England defense is pretty weak right now. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to try to open up windows there and really establish something there. They're going to want to get the running game going, Mendenhall, or get the passing game going quick. The New England Patriots obviously have the best offense passing-wise in the NFL. Don't get me wrong, they have a great running team as well, because every time that somebody thinks that they're going to be passing the ball, next thing you know, they get a 10-yard run up the middle. The facts are the New England Patriots are coming in to play at Pittsburgh Steelers, which I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be excited that they have this home game. Facts are the New England Patriots coming off a bye. They're well rested. They're going to be excited to play. Pittsburgh Steelers have had some big-time games this season, but this is going to be the biggest game of their season. It's going to be a hell of a battle. I expect it to be a game to watch, and I'm taking the New England Patriots by 7 or less. Next up, we have the Dallas Cowboys at the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia Eagles, who are coming off a bye as well. Dallas Cowboys are coming off a big win over the St. Louis Rams. The Dallas Cowboys right now have a very sound defense. Their offense is starting to click on much better, as well as I feel like the offensive line is starting to block better for Tony Romo. I think it's going to be a key contributor here. They want to block for Tony Romo as well as get the wide receivers open. These wide receivers that do get open are going to want to definitely play well this week as they're coming into playing against the Eagles, who the Eagles have a very sound cornerback situation going on their team, as well as D-backs, linebackers are all very good. The defense of the Eagles is going to be the key thing that could stop the Dallas Cowboys from getting the win here. I expect the Eagles offense to be playing very well as well. I expect them to have a whole new offense coming out this week with Michael Vick being obviously the key contributor as he is the quarterback, but ultimately here I expect to see a lot more running and maybe some trick play. But ultimately here I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys on the win here by 7 or less. Next up we have the New Orleans Saints, the St. Louis Rams. The St. Louis Rams coming off a huge loss this past week to the Dallas Cowboys, and the New Orleans Saints whooped up the Indianapolis Colts. The facts are they're going to whoop up the St. Louis Rams as well. And that's just the facts. St. Louis Rams quarterback situation, I don't know what's going on. Offensively, they got no wide receivers or tight ends right now. The defense is looking really sloppy, and the running back game there is just Steven Jackson can't carry the team anymore. New Orleans Saints getting the win by 20 or more. Miami Dolphins are up next against the New York Giants. New York Giants who are home. This is going to be a big-time thing there. The Miami Dolphins have not scored a touchdown in 2 games. They've only been able to kick in field goals. If they expect to go to the Giants Stadium here and kick in field goals, they ain't not getting the win. Miami Dolphins offensively need to step it up. Reggie Bush has got to get better on the field. The wide receiver situation's got to get figured out there. Brandon Marshall, yeah, you are the best wide receiver on the team, but you need to start to be a team player and get some shit going for your team. Get a fucking touchdown catch. Make something happen. The New York Giants here are going to try to open up their doors with their offense here and start to run the ball and establish the running game, as well as have a balanced passing game against this Miami defense. This Miami defense is kind of weak right now. I expect the New York Giants to get the win by 10 or less. Next up, we have the Arizona Cardinals, the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore Ravens, who are coming off a loss to the Jacksonville Jags, and the Arizona Cardinals, who are coming off a loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Both teams are mad as hell right now. The Baltimore Ravens are home. Yeah, they're just frustrated right now with their offense. The Baltimore offense is looking pathetic. Not only did they fumble the ball multiple times this past game, but the Baltimore Ravens offensive running back situation is starting to slow down as well. Their passing game is doing unbelievably worse than they did last year. Their passing rating for Flacco has continued to drop. Flacco needs to get his passer rating up, his passing accuracy up, and the wide receivers for the Ravens need to catch the ball and stop dropping balls. The key contributor here that's going to be, I think, important for the Arizona Cardinals if they want to get this win here is ultimately their defense. They need to step it up and play on all levels. They need to be ready for the run. They need to be ready for the pass because there is breakaway players on this team of the Ravens. But it's can you stop them? The Arizona Cardinals, our offense is starting to do a little bit better. I don't really know much about them right now, but I expect them to do quite well. I think they're going to do better than expected. The Ravens are going to give up maybe 14 points to them, but ultimately here I'm going to take the Ravens on the win by 7 or less. Next up, we have the Indianapolis Colts, Tennessee Titans, who got whooped by the Houston Texans this week, and the Indianapolis Colts, who got whooped by the New Orleans Saints. Both teams are sucking right now. Don't get me wrong. I think what's going to come down to is the defense for both teams, because obviously the offense is just not really there right now for the Tennessee Titans and the Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts are having a quarterback situation. They do have some great wide receivers, but if you don't have a quarterback, then you don't have good wide receivers. The running back game of the Indianapolis Colts is still pretty solid, but the Tennessee Titans running back game I think is better. I think that Chris Johnson may have a breakaway game, but it's all going to depend on the defense of the Indianapolis Colts and if they're going to let him get outside the pocket. I don't think he's going to be able to get out. I think he's going to be able to contain him because they have the great defensive ends there with Dwight Freeney and I can't remember his name, the other freak. But anyways, here I think this is going to be a pretty down-to-earth game. It's just going to be a battle on the ground, physically and mentally, defensively. I don't think there's going to be a lot of passing going on. If there is, there's just going to be a couple passes. I think it's going to be a very boring game to watch. Ultimately here, I'm going to take the Indianapolis Colts on the win because I believe this is going to come down to a field goal game, and there's no questions about it. If there's any field goal kicker I'm going to go with, it's going to be Adam Vinatieri out of any guy in the NFL. And then Indianapolis Colts have them. So I'm going to take the Indianapolis Colts by 6. Next up, we have the Minnesota Vikings against the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers who are coming off a win over the Washington Redskins, and the Minnesota Vikings who are coming off a very sound battle against the Green Bay Packers this past week. Minnesota Vikings have showed now that their defense can't play defense and that they can stay and compete with some of the best teams in the NFL, and they sure as hell did against the Green Bay Packers this week. The facts are the Carolina Panthers are looking sharp as hell right now. Cam Newton is looking like a damn beast. The offensive wide receivers are starting to tear it up. The running backs are starting to show they got some game. The defense is starting to tear it up. Ultimately here, this is going to be a hell of a battle, I got to say, at Bank of America Stadium. I expect the Carolina Panthers to ultimately get the win here, but I'm not counting the Minnesota Vikings out, and I actually you know what? I'm going to switch that. I'm going to go with the Minnesota Vikings getting the win here because of their defense. I think their defense is going to play hell of a game against Cam Newton. I'm going to take the Minnesota Vikings here by less than 7. Next up, we have the Jacksonville Jags and the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans who are coming off that big-time win over the Tennessee Titans, and Jacksonville Jags who are coming off a win over the Baltimore Ravens. The Jacksonville Jags is in past games. I've been saying their defense needed to step it up. They sure as hell stepped it up against the Ravens this past week, and if they want to get this win over the Tennessee Titans, they're going to have to step it up again. Not only are they going to have to compete with some of the best wide receivers in the NFL, but they're going to have to compete with a great running back, Foster. I think the Houston Texans are going to try to beat up on the Jacksonville's defense. And Houston Texans, if they get Andre Johnson back, are going to be a hell of a different team. And I expect the Houston Texans to ultimately get the win here, but I think the Jacksonville Jags are going to, obviously do well. And I think that the running back Jones, who had really screwed up this past week against the Baltimore Ravens, is going to reestablish himself and not fumble the ball like he did, And ultimately here, it's going to be a good game to watch, and I expect the Houston Texans to take the win by 12 or less. Next up, we have the Detroit Lions over the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos are coming off of a come from behind win with Tim Tebow as the starting QB, and the Detroit Lions are coming off a loss to the Atlanta Falcons. The Detroit Lions obviously are a great team. There's no questions about it. The facts are they lost 2 straight at home. That's a little confusing to me because a lot of teams struggle when they're on the away game, and they normally do well at home. See, the Detroit Lions had 3 straight games at home. They lost 2 of them. The facts are now they're on the road a lot, and they're going to be on the road for a while. They're going to have to get a win on the road, and I think they're going to get a win on the road this week. I expect the Detroit Lions to get the win here against the Denver Broncos and Tim Tebow. I think that the Detroit Lions defense is going to be able to contain Tebow and establish the offense to where they can single-handedly whoop the Denver Broncos. by 10 or more. Next up, we have the Washington Redskins, the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills, who are coming off a bye. Washington Redskins, who are coming off a loss to Carolina Panthers. I expect the Washington Redskins to be in it for a bit, but ultimately here, they're not going to get the win. They lost one of their best wide receivers. He's getting a hand surgery. Buffalo Bills are coming off the bye. They needed this bye. They rested their defense. Defense who's playing great right now. The rest of the offense who's playing great right now. I expect the Buffalo Bills to continue their great season and get a win here by 7 or less. Excuse me. Next up, we have the Cincinnati Bengals and the Seattle Seahawks. Cincinnati Bengals are coming off a bye. Seahawks who are coming off a loss to the Cleveland Browns. Seahawks looking weak right now. I don't really have much to say about them. They're not. The running game ain't going. Quarterback situation ain't going well. I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals. I think they're 2 straight wins before this bye. They're going to make it 3 straight wins now, as they're going to get win over the Seattle Seahawks, and they're going to get a win by 10 or more points. Next up, we have the Cleveland Browns at the San Francisco 49ers. 49ers who are coming off of a bye, and the Cleveland Browns of who are coming off of a win over the Seahawks. Facts are the Cleveland Browns. The only way they're going to be able to stay in this game is if they have Hillis back. Hillis, who has sat out this past week. Hillis, their running back there, is their main guy or weapon on the offense of the San Francisco 49ers. Defense is much stronger than the Cleveland Browns, but don't count the Cleveland Browns defense out, as obviously we've seen in the past. They can play a hell of a game. I expect the San Francisco 49ers to openly run the ball with Frank Gore up the middle or bounce it out as much as possible. Also using their wide receivers and tight ends to their advantages. They have a great tight end over there who is a top 10 in my opinion. So I'm going to take the San Francisco 49ers by 15 or less points. And finally, last game of the week, we got the San Diego Chargers against the KC Chiefs. San Diego Chargers, who are coming off a unbelievable loss to the Jets, bullshit loss in my opinion, and the KC Chiefs, who are coming off a big time win over the Oakland Raiders. Ultimately here, the KC Chiefs are starting to establish themselves and show that, oh, well, you know, maybe we do have a team, but ultimately here, you guys don't have a team. You don't have a team that can compete with the San Diego Chargers. San Diego Chargers, Phillip Rivers, and that offense are going to be single-handedly pissed as all motherfucking hell this week, and they're going to let loose on Monday night against the KC Chiefs. I expect the KC Chiefs to stay in it for a bit, but ultimately here they're going to lose because of the offense that they cannot compete with. So those are my picks for the week. Enjoy. I hope you guys like. Send some messages. Inbox me. I'm always up to talking to fans and whatnot. Anyways, I'm thinking about starting my own 1 hour a week NFL Talk Live thing where we could have people call in and whatnot. I've been talking to a couple people about doing it. Voice your opinions and thoughts on maybe doing something like that. I also wouldn't mind getting people like you, my viewers, to call in and discuss certain things that you think that are bothering you or that you'd like to talk about the NFL. So let me know what you guys take on that. Enjoy. I'm getting off here. Got to get to work in a little bit. I'll talk to you guys later. See you. Bye-bye.